welcome everybody to the Blazer Sim Racing in the Pits News Truck Series race here at Watkins, Glen. I'm here with my personal friend Adam Kuhn. Adam, say hello.
Hello, good evening, Bennett.
Good evening to you, man. I know it's been kind of a stressful couple hours for me. A lot of severe weather in the area, but I'm here to broadcast for all the good people out there watching JCTV, here on JCTV. Looking at the ITPN Truck Series here at Watkins Glen, like I said. A lot of little mentionable things. Cameron Caldwell has been one of those guys that everyone looks at when it comes to road courses. And so it'll be interesting to see if he, takes one again today. But looks like he's off track right now. But yeah, I'm excited to see the great racing here at Watkins Glen. What about you, Adam?
Well, first off, Bennett, want to wish you the best here tonight, navigating all these storms around you. First off, so I want to say that. And yeah, like you mentioned, Cameron Caldwell has been the guy to beat on the road races, 3 for 3 in the league. Just 3 road courses between the first 2 seasons. First one here tonight in season 3, and he's already top of the charts in practice. The only driver to break the 1 minute 13 second mark to get to the 112s.
Yeah, he's looked lightning fast so far here in practice. His practice is winding down. We got about 8 minutes left. Right now we're watching Ethan Fonska Morano here going through that back straightaway coming into the bus stop. This racetrack can be very difficult at times, very tricky, as there's a lot of points where you can mess up, but yet it's one of the smaller road courses with only about 7 turns. And it's always fun to watch people, duke it out here. There's a lot of good passing places. And, yeah, it should be fun to watch. There's also a couple little runoff areas. You saw one there on the exit of the carousel. There's one here on the exit of turn, I believe, 6. Can't really use as much as I do in real life, but you can use a lot of it. And go through that final penultimate corner back onto the front straightaway. Oh, looks like he's gonna go hit a friend there. Looks like that was the 81 of Jonathan Parker. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going on today with this race, and it's be fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, still got about 7 minutes left until qualifying, and we can go ahead and probably safely assume that Cameron Caldwell is probably gonna take qualifying to himself. But yeah, it's excited to see what will happen. Looks like Cameron's in the pits. I think they're going through the drivers' meeting right now, so we'll wait until that's over. Maybe we'll pull him in just before qualifying starts. Give him a quick interview before chaos ensues. But yeah, let's try to find some people on track to see how they're doing. We got Jeremy Richmond in the 98. So far, his fastest lap time's a 1:15.2. So about 3-ish seconds off the pace, but you see he's going through the bus stop right now, getting that thing, out on that edge that everyone wants to ride. And yeah, let's go through the carousel here. Going that runoff, you'll see. Looks like the 06 there in front of him uses that runoff area pretty well.
Yeah, Aaron Siciliano driving that 06 machine, Bennett. He is a sprint car driver, what he's professional known as, I think, in iRacing, what his reputation is, I believe. So, but he is also a really good road racer. We've first come to know him in the Formula 4 series using the IR04 Formula cars, as he just bins it there in turn 1 after completing a lap. But I think he was just comfortable with that last lap and ready to call it good there. We've had a lot of shenanigans going on in pit road the last couple minutes, Ben.
Yeah, I'm looking on pit road here. There's 2 drivers on pit wall, so I wonder what they're doing.
Yeah, but back to Siciliano real quick. He's got a lot of road pace, and this could be his good one of his good outings in this truck. He's not really stock car driver in iRacing, so it's gonna be a big night for him in the truck series.
Yeah, you can see the shenanigans on pit road continuing to happen, but You know, looking at Aaron Siciliano on pit road right now, his best lap time's a 1:13.3, so just about over a sec, almost, you know, 4/10, if I could do math right, 4/10 behind Cameron Caldwell with a 1:12.9. Cameron's the only driver in the 1:12s. Michael Kruger is in a close second. As you see, he's on track right now, still putting some lap times down with about 4 minutes left in practice. And he's another one of these drivers that you always got to look out for. He's really fast, you know, week in, week out. You can find him out front a lot. And you see him in that Eat Treat Win McDonald's mobile with JCTV, a little spot on the hood. But see him going through the bus stop right now. Just a great driver, great person. I've raced with him a couple times in endurance racing, so he's a pretty good road racer, keeps the car clean. Be excited to see him duke it out with Cameron, Jonathan, and Aaron right now. Those are the only 4 drivers up front in terms of lap times, but yeah, it'll be fun to watch tonight. I'm excited to get this thing going and, you know, call along with you, Adam.
Absolutely, Bennett. And you mentioned Michael Kruger finished second in this race last season, and all week he's been poised as the guy to maybe challenge Cameron for this win, and finally dethrone him as the road warrior. Maybe see him come to a stop. They're one of the Halloween paint schemes, one of many Halloween-inspired paint schemes this weekend we see on these trucks.
Yeah, with Halloween this weekend, you already know that those purple, orange, white, black colors are coming out. Many drivers are choosing to run those colors. Also, there's a couple breast cancer awareness trucks I see out there. You know, it's October, so it's that, you know, month that we, you know, recognize all the cancer survivors and also raise awareness for them. So you can see like Alex Kierfin here in the 30. He has a little bit of pink on his paint scheme. And a bunch of other drivers do as well, as there's still shenanigans going on pit road. I'm trying to find somebody on track right now for y'all. Take a look at. There's 89 of Gary Sack. He's parking it right now. See a couple drivers pulling off pit road. Maybe not. Trying to find somebody for y'all to look
Ben,
at.
I believe the drivers meeting has concluded, so I think we can drag Cameron in here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get Cameron Caldwell down here to the broadcast booth for y'all. Kind of a big name. Cameron Caldwell, Ben Allen up here in the broadcast booth. You had us?
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, you're the owner of the league, and you're, you know, pretty fast. The only driver right now in the 1:12.9s. Just tell us about what your plan is for the night and how you're going to attack it.
Ideally, in a perfect race, win the pole and lead all 72 laps, but I probably don't think it's going to go that way. Looking back at it, I think I've had... I've won more poles than not on the road courses, but then I always have an issue to where I'm running in, say, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, and then to fight my way back up. But yeah, just gonna try to play it smart. Don't screw it up for myself, hopefully, and try to keep my undefeated streak going on road courses in this league. Obviously, that's the main goal because a win would be really nice. I'll be able to have any luck on the oval so far, but without any cautions other than the stage caution. Hopefully it'll just come down to pace and not strategy or luck. So yeah. Just gotta play it smart. I know there's gonna be a couple guys here who are gonna keep me honest for sure, and I say that as unarrogantly as possible.
Yeah.
But there are a couple guys. Kruger especially, he's gotten a lot better since last year, and he was already pretty good, so I think we'll have a good battle. But yeah, just gotta keep it smart, keep my head straight, and finish her off.
Yeah, with the stage being at the end of lap 18, do you think you're gonna pull any strategy, you know, pitting early, or are you gonna try to win the stage and stay up front?
I'm probably gonna try to go for the stage. I think, assuming I'm at least leading, I think that chase point or plat point, whatever you want to call it, is really important. We saw last season in the chase that having a few extra points meant a lot. So I think just having that one extra in the bank will help. Even, you know, if I screwed up in the second stage, at least I have that to fall back on. So probably go for that. If I'm not leading and I'm not in a position, then maybe I'll look at something else. But I don't feel like it is that big of a difference, so probably go for it.
Well, good luck to you, man, as qualifying is about to start going underway, and we hope to see you back up here in the broadcast booth soon.
Yep. Hope I'm talking to you guys at the end of the race and hopefully at the end of the stage too. So
Yes, sir.
have a good broadcast, and for all the fans out there, we're gonna try to put on a show for you guys, and hope to talk to all you all at the end.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck out there, man.
Yep. Thanks.
That was Cameron Caldwell, the driver of the number 12 Chevy Silverado. He'll be out on track here shortly, and there he is. We'll stick with him as he does his outlap, and we'll move on around the other couple drivers. But Cameron Caldwell, like I said, owner of the league, really nice guy, and really fast as well. And from my knowledge that I was given, that he's pretty fast at these road course races, and he's won, I believe, 3 in a row. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. And I see he's doing his outlap on the back straightaway right now, going down into the bus stop. Yeah, just watch qualifying unfold here, and waiting for a time to be put down. Lap times, like you saw, are ranging around about 1 minute 13-ish. About a 1 minute, 13.7 is a good lap time. You see he's weaving back and forth, getting those tires ready to go. And yeah, I'll be excited to see what happens here, and through qualifying and into the race. See Cameron be starting his first lap here, and we'll go ahead and take you through the lap on board Cameron Caldwell. You see going down to turn 1, he probably gets down to about 2nd gear, and gets back out, try to ride those curbs a little bit. Through the S's, it's going to be full throttle. You don't want to lift unless you want to get that car turned just a little bit, and a little bit more. See, it's going through right into the back straightaway. Going to get up to about your highest speeds here in the middle of the racetrack in the back straightaway, going down into the bus stop. So try to get as close to that wall as you can. Gets a little loose, probably clip the grass just a little bit there. And going to go through the carousel. Carousels can be tricky at times, but you want to kind of keep it tight right on those inside curbs. And he elected not to, get the truck all the way out. Looks like he's slowing down, maybe getting ready for his 2nd lap. As a couple drivers have actually put down lap times here. Michael Kruger and Andreas, and now Alex Kirfan. It looks like Cameron's going to try to start his 2nd lap here. I guess we'll stick on him for now. Actually, let's go to Michael Kruger. Michael Kruger, oh, he hit the wall there in the bus stop. Maybe not on his eyes, but right now Michael Kruger is on your pole position with a 1:13.2. So we were talking about him in practice, how fast he could be, but looks like he's still going to be fast. Look at Alex Kirfan here, going through the carousel for his 2nd lap. Do the short shoot here. So far, he's put a lap time down of 1:13.5. So kind of right in that middle range. Let's see what this lap time will be. And it's going to be another 1:13.5. So he's going to sit in 3rd as of right now. Looks like a couple other drivers are also starting to wrap up their laps. Jonathan Parker with a 1:14.4. He's still trucking it out there as he's going through the S's. It's a little loose there. Kind of gotta be careful with some of those transitions of banking and elevation.
really aggressive approach to the chicane there, taking all the curb through the first part of the inner loop.
Yeah, a lot of drivers kind of want to do that, honestly. You don't really shave much time. You're just kind of using all the track and cutting the corner as much as you can without getting penalized for it. So we'll probably see a lot of drivers, really attack that the bus stop or the inner loop with as hard as they can as he's going through the last couple corners here. He's going to come out of turn 7. He'll cross the line for a 1:14.1. Be just a little bit better. It'll put him in 7th. Looks like we have one other person who hasn't already put down a time, about to put down a time, the Christian Pacheco. See, looks like he's having a little bit of internet issues, but doing pretty well here as he just started his lap. Kind of hear him get a little bit out of the throttle there in that little second corner. Oh, he looked really loose there. Great save. It's going to shave off a good little bit of his lap time there. That's going to be all right.
Yeah, Christian was, he was all over the place the entire top section of the S's going up the hill through 3 and 4. Did a nice job of covering through the inner loop, though, I think that time through the bus stop. As he's continuing to struggle with his internet, like you mentioned, he just loaded back into the server just a few minutes ago. He wasn't fast, but dropped out because of packet loss, but back in here and trying to make the show tonight.
Yeah, kind of messed up his lap time after he got loose there in the S's, so we'll see if he still has another lap in the bank. So really loose. I mean, you can see he's trying to push that truck to its limits.
Way off the out of there in turn 7, way more than you want to be. Gonna be able to beat a few guys though in that lap.
Yeah, he's not gonna be dead last, and he's currently be P10. It looks like he still has another lap to go though. You've kind of seen a wide array of how much track people use. Now in the exit of turn 1, you can use all that curb, all the rumble strips with keeping 2 tires on it. And we haven't seen that many people do that. Maybe they're afraid that they're going to be loose. Maybe there's not enough grip up there or something. But you can see him going through the bus stop, still kind of maintaining a little bit of that bad internet, but that's okay. He got a little loose there coming out of the inner loop, but he'll go right into the carousel. There's a couple things you can do in the carousel. Go ahead.
Sorry, Ben. Yeah, he went really wide in that second half of the bus stop, and it really caught him off guard trying to get back into the carousel. Like mentioned, really loose there and set up for that corner.
Yeah, he's still wheeling that thing, so that'll be kind of something to look out, as this is a fixed setup league. So everyone might have a little bit of a loose condition. It just depends on how well you can drive this race truck. And as he's going to cross the line for his second lap, just a little bit better, 1:14.5 for Christian Pacheco there. I'll put him P9. Looks like Aaron's
only gained 1 position. Sorry, Bennett, but he only gained 1 position, but he did gain half a second by doing that. So pretty good, solid on the lap time.
Yeah, as we're looking here at Aaron Siciliano, parked at Pit Road. His lap time was a 1:13.3. I don't think he's going to be putting down another lap time here. These are the only 2 cars on track, as you see Ethan Moreno here going through his second lap. Maybe he's putting, some extra practice in, but he's on track right now, getting on the nose cam here as he goes through the bus stop. Looks like he didn't like the way that was, and he is going to pull it into the garage area.
Well, we mentioned Siciliano in practice, and what could be an outside pole, would be an outside pole right here. That's pretty huge for him. I believe it's only his 3rd or 4th start in the league.
Yeah, looks like here, according to my data, there's only 12 cars that did qualify, and so about 30 seconds left of qualifying. I think this will be your your field's going to be set, at least for the top 12. iRacing kind of automatically determine who else will start kind of behind them. But for your top 12, will be Michael Kruger, Anthony Siciliano, first and second. Third and fourth, Cameron Caldwell and Alex Kirfan. Fifth and sixth will be Ethan Moreno and Andrew Willius. Seventh and eighth will be Dalton Kelly and Jonathan Parker. Ninth and 10th will be Christian Pacheco and Brett Bennett. 11th and 12th will be Jeremy Richmond and Caleb McCurry. Now round out your top 12 there as we're starting to grid up. We'll see if we can find our pole sitter, Michael Kruger here. Just give me a second to try to find him in the driver's chats. Michael Kruger has been an Allen here in the broadcast booth. You got the pole here at Watkins Glen, so just tell us how you're feeling and what your goals are for this race leading into it.
Well, I'm really feeling great about it. I mean, I kind of didn't anticipate to get the pole really, because I mean, I knew guys like Cam and Aaron were going to be really tough to beat for the pole, and I was just kind of surprised I somehow put it together. I'm really excited. For stage one, I'm just hoping to keep it clean and just keep it P1 here. I mean, the real big test is obviously going to be the long runs when we get to like past lap 10 or so. But I mean, I'm up for the challenge. I'm going to try my best to hold off the guys behind me and try to bring home stage one.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see how this race turns out. A lot of fast drivers there, at least the top 5. You know, all y'all were separated between about 5/10 of each other, and you know that seems like a lot of time on an oval. But here on these road courses, I mean, there's a lot of places to make mistakes. So, congratulations on the pole, man. Hopefully you do well out there. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to tip your hat to real quick?
Just want to thank my teammates, Josh, Caleb, and Scott. Just want to thank those guys for PBR for having me a part of that team. Really, Alonzo and Cam for having this league set up, and you guys in the booth. Just thank you guys.
Well, you're welcome, and hopefully we'll see you there at the stage break.
Thank you.
That was Michael Kruger, driver of the 14. Qualified pole here at Watkins Glen. As you can see, the drivers are starting to roll off the grid here. We'll give you a quick rundown through your field. We'll give you the top 12, so we'll start here at 13th place with Justin Duran, as he'll be taking a penalty, so he'll start in the back. 14th place will be Daniel Saponsky. 15th will be Michael Walls. 16th will be David Duran. 17th, Shane O'Neill. 18th, Ryan Bogey. 19th, Gary Sack. 20th will be Michael Tolster, but it looks like he'll choose to start from the pits. And 21st, Matthew Stotts. Some of these guys will be kind of a long way to go starting from the back of the field. But it'll be exciting to see, how that all shakes out. And, we have one, maybe a grueling pace lap for these drivers before we drop the green. As we've been talking about throughout practice and qualifying, this track can be very difficult. A lot of places to mess up, a lot of places that you can spin your rear tires and get a little bit loose at. So there'll be a wide array of different strategies these drivers will try to pull out of their hats in terms of tire strategy and how much hard and how much they want to push. But I'm personally really excited to see what happens. Hopefully you are too, Adam. But yeah, as these drivers are kind of going through the carousel, they're going to get their virtual belts tight and get ready to go.
Oh, I'm absolutely ready, Bennett. This is one of my favorite racetracks. Love watching the racing here, especially in Sim. It's going to be a great show tonight. Going to see a lot of chaos. I think it might not be the best race for the win, but like it usually is at road courses in Sim. But I think it might be a show for the fans for sure, and we'll have a lot of chaos at the end of it.
Oh yes, for sure. There's a lot of things this track can do to scare us as drivers. So as they're coming through the last two corners, coming to green. Once again, this is ITPN Truck Series on JCTV, and Michael Kruger is going to pull it through turn 7, waiting for that pace car to drop off as we are going green. And there you go. Green flag is out here at Watkins Glen. See a lot of drivers fan out just a little bit going into turn 1. It's like everyone's getting through there pretty cleanly. These drivers are going to go through the S's. Like I said earlier, this is going to be a difficult bit. You really don't want to go side by side through here. See a couple side by side battles further back, as we're going to be going down the back straightaway. Looks like the 48 there got a little bit loose, as looks like all the drivers are now flowing their way down into the bus stop or the inner loop.
Well, Alexander Coffin misses the first part of the bus stop, and he had to blow the second half completely, and he's going to lose a bunch of positions.
He's fallen all the way back to looks like about 9th place, but he keeps it going in the right direction, as there's a little bit of a battle between Andrew Williams and Jonathan Parker going down to turn 6. It's like Andrew Williams goes a little bit wide there, maybe giving a spot back, maybe serving one of those slowdown penalties. He gives up 2 positions to Christian Pacheco and Jonathan Parker. It's a little loose there coming off the corner, but again, a little bit of internet issue there with Christian Pacheco, but everyone gets through the first lap pretty cleanly, as we're going to go back up front to the battle between Michael Kruger and Aaron Siciliano. Maybe about 3-4 tenths separating the two drivers right now as they're going through the S's. Back up to the back straightaway. You can see
yeah, great start for all these guys in the top 3. Bennett really once, other than Koffin's mistake through the inner loop last time by, these 3 have been smooth so far. A little bit of grass for these 3 taken through the bus stop there, but that's Clements, baby, and they're getting away with it as long as you don't clog the grill up with too much sod. And Aaron Siciliano is getting very close to the back bumper of that 14, putting up a fight here.
Yeah, he had a really, really good bus stop there. Looks like Michael Kruger kind of pulled away from him on the exit of the carousel. And into turn 6 and 7 here. Still about 3 to 4 tenths separating the two drivers, but you see Cameron Caldwell back there kind of, eyeing in, maybe waiting for them to make a mistake or make a move. He's 9 tenths back away from Michael Kruger and about 6 tenths back away from Siciliano. There's a really great corner there. Kind of hops the curb a little bit from Aaron. Lost a little bit of time there because you kind of really don't want to hit that curb. It bounces your truck way up in the air, as you all saw. This driver is making their way through the S's. Get a little close up at this wall. See how close these drivers are getting, carrying as much speed as they can onto corner exit. So going through the carousel again. And Michael Kruger kind of pulling away 10th by 10th. You can see where his strong corners are. Kind of go through through the whole field. Great battle here for 15th. Matthew Stotts getting on the inside of David Duran. And as they're going to go into turn 6, he completed that pass and exited the carousel. Now has his eyes set on Jeremy Richmond, who got a little out of shape there coming out of turn 6. But great battle here.
Richmond just got passed. Richmond just got passed by Danny Sabowski in the 51, just ahead of him. So Danny on the move a little bit, and Richmond trying to hang on to that truck with Matthew Stotts, like you mentioned, right on his tailgate now into turn 1. Oh, big moment for Saponsky, exiting 1. Looks like maybe wheel spin. Couldn't get the truck going to his liking, and now it's going to allow Richmond to fight as they chase up the S's.
Yeah, single file through the S's. Again, you don't want to be side by side through there. On that outside lane, your truck can get really loose really fast. As like Jamie Richmond's going to be looking to the inside of Saponsky there. He's going to kind of get there, almost a little bit of contact. And Saponsky goes around. Looks like he's
in the grass.
Avoid the wall and get it back going again. Super unfortunate for him, as that gives Jamie Richmond the spot. He's actually kind of fallen back a little bit. Actually, gonna have to take a look at that.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Daniel. He was in the grass a little bit, and Richmond just committed it in there and Daniel towed back to the pit, so it's going to be night over pretty much for him after that contact.
All right, here is the replay. I guess he really didn't know he was there, and just kind of spun himself out. And Jamie Richmond just had to lose all that time trying to avoid him, but super duper unfortunate for those drivers, and definitely for Saponsky as he towed the race truck. Super duper unfortunate for him, as you know, he's having a pretty uneventful like a couple of moments there, but just one mistake kind of ruined his night. I guess he was really frustrated and decided to pull that truck into the garage area. Looks like I'm having some internet issues. My apologies. Like I said, there are storms moving through the area, so things might happen. So we're going to take a look back in on the leaders. Still about 4/10 separate Michael Kruger to Arian Siciliano. I'm going to butcher his name a lot, but it's alright. We're looking at all these drivers making their way around the racetrack. Just a reminder, there is a stage break at the end of lap 18. So we'll see some strategy that these guys might put. Some drivers might, you know, pit right before the stage break, before pit road closes with 2 laps to go, but pretty good gap separated the top 3 to 4th place, and a good gap between 5th and 6th. But everyone kind of minding their own P's and Q's, maybe not the top 2 guys or top 3, but everyone else trying to keep a clean truck and try to get to the end of this race. Kind of a long race, the 72 lap race. Let's go on board here with Michael Kruger. He's making his way into turn 7 on the exit into the front straightaway. Gonna brake right between the 300 sign and the caution light. Doesn't use much curb there on exit, and as you hear him go through the S's, you hear him get out of the throttle a little bit there. Looks like these drivers with this setup can't really take it full throttle. He used a little bit of curb there, and now he's on from the back straightaway leading into the inner loop. Shifting down from 3rd and the 2nd. Shifted back up into 3rd. He's gonna roll through the carousel. Uses a little bit of that runoff, but not much. He's going down here into the short chute. Into turn 6 and 7. See him kind of getting wide to get a good apex in the corner. Uses a good amount of curb on exit. But that's one lap around here around Watkins Glen with the leader Michael Kruger. We'll take a look at the drivers rolling through turn 1.
Yeah, it's a great lap for Michael Kruger, of course, when you're in the lead. I was watching someone not have a good lap at all. Christian Pacheco in the 88 truck. He went from 7th place on that lap to 10th. He got passed by each of the 3 SBOD trucks. First Andrew Elias, then Dalton Kelly and Brett Bennett. All 3 maneuvered around Pacheco, who continues to fight a loose condition with that truck, and he did a great job on the start. Bennett getting through the field, picking up a couple of positions, went from 9th on the grid to 6th at one point, but he's hanging on to that truck, maybe too fast too early, and he's paying the price on that tire.
Yeah, and you definitely really don't want to overdrive the corner. As you see, it looks like the 45 there. He used a lot of that grass there. Got himself a 1X, but you see a lot of these drivers might be just struggling with the racetrack, not much the car or the truck, or rather. But you see the 45 of Dalton Kelly, a little bit of a scary paint scheme here, as you just saw him cut the corners a little bit too much there on the exit of the bus stop. It's a good battle between Brett Bennett and Christian Pacheco behind him. Christian Pacheco kind of got
huge slide.
a little loose there in exit. You can see him continue to have internet problems, but he's still sliding all over the place. It's like he might have overheated those tires. Super duper unfortunate. So we're going back up to Brett Bennett, who's chasing down Dalton Kelly.
Yeah, real quick, if Pacheco's tires weren't angry, they definitely are now. And speaking of angry, looking at the Kentucky Nightmare of Bennett paint scheme, I think of that 47. One of my favorite Halloween paint schemes tonight, Bennett.
Yeah, it's certainly a funny one. Is the Horrors of Nebraska 47 truck of Brett Bennett as he's making his way through the bus stop chicane as well. A lot of these drivers, you know, battling maybe ill handling race trucks due to their own demise. As we're watching Jonathan Parker here chase down Ethan Fonseca Morano, if I'm not butchering that name anymore. Just a couple tenths behind him, and got a little bit loose coming out on exit. But you can see how much the field is starting to spread out right now, and there's a little bit of individual battles here and there between drivers. As 81 got a really good entry and exit of turn 1, kind of feasting on the tailgate of that Hunt Brothers Ford F-150 of Ethan Morano. While we're thinking of it, we're going to look at the schedule for the ITPN Truck Series, as we're right now at Watkins Glen International Raceway here on October 29th, 2022. Next week will be the good old Nashville Super Speedway. You know, it's not really it doesn't really race like a super speedway, but it is one. And right after that will be Kentucky, then Pocono, Darlington, Dega. There'll be a Dega doubleheader, it looks like, there. So that'll be a fun night. There'll be Michigan, the Roval, and Atlanta to round out your regular season. And then you'll see the 5 playoff races of Chicagoland, Bristol, Homestead, Martinsville, and Kansas. And if you look at your little nonstop screen, you saw Jonathan Parker get a little loose, but a lot of great racetracks, you know, still to come here in the 2022-2023 season for the Blazer Sim Racing InThePitsNews Truck Series. And all these races will be brought to you by the folks here at JCTV. And we're really excited to be partnering with the ITPN Truck Series throughout the season. But yeah, a lot of action, you know, still to come throughout the season. A lot of action still to come here at Watkins Glen, as we're going to go back up to the battle for the lead between Michael Kruger and Aaron Siciano. These drivers continue to battle with their race trucks, but they've kept it pretty even throughout this race. They've been pretty close to each other. And both Michael Kruger, Aaron, and Cameron Caldwell have all been within about 1.5 to 2 seconds of each other. So well within striking distance, as the laps are starting to wind down just a little bit coming to the stage. And I see Cameron Caldwell there in the background, got a little bit loose coming off of 1. He keeps it going, lost just a little bit of time. There's a lot of places to make it up.
Yeah, in about 10 seconds up the road from these guys is going to be first lap truck of the night, Ryan Bogey in the 21 machine, jack-o'-lantern paint scheme on that Ford F-150, but he's struggled. He's new to iRacing, and
it looks like Ryan's actually on pit road.
He's got a lot of road experience. Well, there you go. He's moved out of the way for the leaders then. Sorry. Didn't notice that. Sorry, Bennett. Thanks for clearing that up.
No problem. It looks like he is actually putting that truck onto the trailer. Super duper unfortunate for him. But that technical first lap car will be Caleb McCurry, currently sitting in 17th spot. Last lap time was a 1:19.044. Looks like he's just trying to have himself a clean race. Maybe there's 1 or 2 moments for him during this race, but You can see him just trying to, you know, get some laps in, maybe learn a little bit about this race truck and this racing series, and maybe one of these days we'll see him out front. But you can see him kind of taking it gingerly through the bus stop / inner loop, and he's kind of taking a really wide arc into the carousel. But you can tell this is a driver who might be trying to learn a little bit more about racing, racecraft. But I have full, you know, trying to say this the correct way, but I have a good feeling that he will be up front one of these days, and the learning process will, you know, be worth it. But he's technically the first car that could go a lap down. I doubt that he will, as it's lap 13 of 72 in stage. Again, is the end of lap 18. Next car ahead of Caleb McCurry is David Durand, currently sitting in the 16th position. He is currently 37 seconds behind the leader. I don't think he will have a fear of being a lap down anytime soon as well. Last lap time was a 1:16.8, so he's right around on pace. Maybe had a couple moments earlier in the race that caused him to lose a lot of time, but you can see he's also one of those drivers that's just trying to remain consistent. So he goes a little bit wide there in the bus stop. That's okay. He'll be going through the carousel as well. And it's going to go through right smack dab in the middle of the field. Look at Gary Sack, currently in 10th, trying to protect his position from Christian Pacheco, who kind of looked to his inside there. Gary Sack and the Michigan Wolverines. Oh, in trouble behind him. Pacheco into the wall.
Did a great job on not spinning that truck out and crashing a bunch of other people, but like we mentioned all night, that he is loose and got on the outside wall there exiting 7.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it, but I have a feeling Pacheco has a syndrome called light switch throttle syndrome, where you kind of get on the throttle just a little bit too hard. You kind of treat it as a light switch. Get off the throttle, get back on the throttle really hard, but super duper unfortunate for him getting the wall there. Honestly, a great save, as we'll go back on to Gary Sack, as I was saying, in that Michigan Wolverines Chevy Silverado, leading the pack between Michael Wells, Matthew Stotts, Justin Duran, and Pacheco. He is currently the first car in the top 10, sitting in 10th spot, and doing a really good job protecting those positions. Go look back at Michael Wells. A new driver, really haven't seen much in the series, but he's having a pretty solid day today, currently in the 11th position. Just being really smooth here as he's going to try to chase down Gary Sack. Behind him will be Matthew Stotts. Matthew Stotts is one of those drivers that everyone loves in this series. Very respectable, very clean driver. See a lot of damage on that right side. Maybe one of these times he hit that wall going into the bus stop, but he's currently in 12th. You can see he's a little loose, and looks like Justin Duran, they're looking at his inside, he'll just give up that spot. This just kind of shows what I was trying to say. Really respectable driver, really nice guy, and he's really a big help in this league. And I'm starting to get a kinship with him because he's, you know, he likes West Virginia, I like West Virginia, and he likes NASCAR, and I like NASCAR. So it's kind of one of those things, but really nice guy. And see him going through the bus stop right now, right behind Justin Durand. So keep an eye on this group of guys for y'all for a little while. A bunch of good drivers just trying to make their way through the race. Looks like the 48 Michael Wells is also having some internet issues. We apologize for that. Some of these drivers can't help it, and that's okay. So let's look back up to your leader, Michael Kruger. Just touch the grass a little bit there. Right behind him, Aaron Siciliano and Cameron Caldwell battling for second position. Maybe Aaron has used up his rubber just a little bit too much. It looks like Cameron's ready to pounce on that. He's got a little bit of loose there coming out of the carousel. Good catch there. Only about 3/10 separate these two drivers. As Cameron Caldwell noticeably faster through the entry points of these corners. Great battle here for second place.
There's just 2 laps to go in the stage, and we saw Cameron just kind of sit there and ride around these first 16 laps of this segment. And wow, Siciliano really wide there, exiting one, almost let the tires up and lost control of the 06. But as I was saying, Caldwell looking pouncing now for maybe another point here on the 06 machine.
Yeah, you can see Cameron Caldwell got a really good exit there because of Siciliano's mistake. But he's still kind of sitting now about 2-3 tenths back, trying to find the right corner to pounce. Caldwell getting a really good entry and exit out of the bus stop, carrying that momentum down into the carousel, right on the back tailgate of Siciliano. Siciliano kind of uses a lot of that runoff, gains a couple hundredths, trying to manage the rest of the tires that he has. Definitely going to see him probably pit at the end of the stage. Just ahead of him, Michael Kruger will be crossing the line to take the final lap of this stage. So the gaps kind of increase between second and third. So Cameron Caldwell either backed off or made a couple mistakes, or maybe Siciliano was just better than him that lap. And looking at lap times, it kind of looks what it was. Currently, Aaron Siciliano is the fastest car on track. Last lap run was a 1:15.8.2, and Kruger ran a 1:15.8.6. So just a little bit faster than Michael right now, as Michael is going through the carousel for the final time in this stage.
And these top 3, Bennett, are the closest 3 on the track, really, and especially out of anyone in the top 8 going for these segment points here, with Brett Bennett last out of those.
Yeah, Brett Bennett will be the last person probably to take points. As you see, Michael Kruger coming through 6 and 7 to the front stretch. And there's no green checkered flag here in iRacing, but he will take the green checkered flag. He'll be first. Second will be Aaron Siciliano. Third will be Cameron Caldwell. And easing his way out of turn 7 will be Ethan Franska Morano for 4th. 5th will be Jonathan Parker, as you can see him crossing the line right now. Then it'll be Alex Kirfan. Dalton Kelly. Oh, getting really loose. Just babying that truck home. Dalton Kelly will be 7th, and Brett Bennett will round out your top 8. It's a pretty good stage there. There you go. The caution is out. So stacking back up, get some pit stops going here on JCTV at Watkins Glen. Let's let these guys catch up to the pace car before we pull in our stage winner, Michael Cooper. Well, with the first stage in the books, or the only stage in the books, Adam, how do you feeling about these drivers, and you're kind of seeing who's the most dominant? Be interesting to see how the rest of the race plays out, right?
Absolutely. I was very surprised to see Aaron Siciliano keep up with Michael Kruger and Cameron Caldwell like that in that opening stint. I know we talked about it in practice and quali about how fast he was on the road courses, and how much of a factor he could be tonight, but I really didn't anticipate that long run speed to be that great. That's really the most important thing with this race, especially with no yellows and with how strung out everything's going to be. The long run pace is the most crucial part, and obviously we know a big 3, if it continues to continue like this and they don't find themselves eliminating each other from contention, or finding themselves with mistakes, it's probably going to be between the 14, the 06, and the 12, of course, tonight. So we're going to see how it plays out, and then see if anyone can shake that up and prove us wrong. Long way to go in the race.
Oh, yeah. More than half. We're not even halfway there, so more than half the race to go. I'm going to pull in Michael Kruger. Michael Kruger, it's been Alan back with you here in the broadcast booth. Do you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha, Bennett.
Well, you are our Stage 1 winner tonight here in the ITPN Truck Series. Just tell us how that truck is handling and your goals leading towards the end of the race.
Well, she drove pretty good there. Long runs, I was scared about it, but she still drove pretty good after on the long runs. So I felt like I was having some pretty good pace on long runs, and it was just felt pretty good pace. Really confident where I'm at right now for the stage win. Absolutely, I love picking up the stage points, much needed, especially that valuable stage point for the playoff.
Yeah, those stage points are very important for you guys battling for that championship. You know, us too in the broadcast booth, we saw your speed throughout the whole run, and you know, you kept those lap times going, and you had really good lap times throughout. So, you know, leading towards the end of the race with a pit stop in between, do you think you'll be able to hold that longer on the speed, or do you think Siciliano and Caldwell have something for you?
Well, I believe they might have some for me possibly, but it's just, in my opinion, it's just going to come down to just execution, being smart and limiting mistakes and being very precious on those rear tires and just being very patient.
Well, man, I know you're about to get your pit stop underway. It was nice talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you there at the end.
Thank you, Bennett.
No problem. There was your stage winner, Michael Kruger. As you're looking here at pit road exit, waiting for these drivers to get through their pit stops. Everyone's probably taking 4 tires. You see Michael will be the first one off pit road. He's going to be the first driver off pit road. Second will be probably Siciliano. We'll get that there. There we go. My apologies, they're having a little bit of camera issues, but looks like Andrew Willius opted to stay out. Maybe he had that strategy where you pit early. Let's actually see if that's true. Yeah, he did pit early. He pitted 4 laps ago, so he tried that little early pit strategy to get him some track position, so that'll work out good for him. Get those tires recycled, but to the left side of the lap since pit, and Andrew Willius is the only driver who opted for that strategy. And looking at his lap times, he's only about a second off Michael Kruger's best lap time with a 1:14.7, and Michael Kruger in a 1:13.7. So we'll see what happens on this restart coming up. We still have about 1 pace lap left.
Well, Bennett, during those pit stops, Cameron Caldwell lost 5 positions on pit road. He stopped too close to the pit wall when coming into his box, and he had to realign his truck. Of course, the crew the virtual crew would not be able to check the right side of the truck up and replace the tire, so he had to fix that machine and lost valuable time. He's going to have to make his way through a couple of new faces he hasn't raced all night, and to reinsert himself into the conversation for the win.
Yeah, super duper unfortunate for Cameron Caldwell there as he falls back to 8th. But with the way these NASCAR restarts are here at these road courses, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe just maybe he can, dive bomb into turn 1 if he gets that inside line clear. But that number 12 Chevy Silverado has some work ahead of him for sure. So we're going to take a look back at the top 2 drivers. Andrew Willius is going to be your leader on this restart. Adam, what do you think is going to happen here? Could we see a big wreck, or do you think everyone's still going to remain respectful and just try to get through this lap cleanly?
It's very possible. We could see Siciliano maybe or Ethan Moreno, both of those drivers, starting 2nd and 3rd on the inside row. They're new to the league. They're first season drivers. Not saying that they're going to make mistakes here, guaranteed, but maybe even the veteran guys on the outside lane make mistakes. Who knows? Anything could happen here, but I wouldn't doubt Siciliano maybe trying to get rid of the 44 quick, knowing he's not one of the fast 3 trucks, maybe forcing the issue and trying to dispose of Andrew quick on the restart, like I was saying. Who knows? Ethan Moreno did a great job of that opening stint, first of all. He didn't keep up with the top 3, but he was on an island of himself between he and the next group of trucks. I believe it was the SBOD guys after him, but he was way ahead of him, but way behind the pack. So he was a great race all by his lonesome there. Hopefully he gets to keep it up. He's been wrecked out of too many of these already in his young career here.
Oh, that's very true, and you know, he's done very well tonight. Keep that truck clean. Currently sitting in the 6th spot. And from what it seems like, he's a very, you know, respectable driver there in that 43 machine. So the drivers are starting to come through the last corners. They're going to get ready for this restart here at Watkins Glen International Raceway. Andrew Williams will be your leader. Michael Kruger second on that front row. Let's try out as the trucks will make their way through the final corner, coming into the Geico restart zone. And we are green again here in the ITPN Truck Series. All the drivers get down in the turn 1. Pretty respectable so far, as Michael Kruger already going to reassume the lead.
Yeah, well, Elias was pushed to the outside lane there on the restart. Kruger took big advantage of it, and then with Elias pushed wide, Coffin was able to get around him, and now the 44 is stacking up the field up through the S's a little bit as Aaron Siciliano wants to get around him, heading down the back straightaway. Jonathan Parker making a peek.
I see these drivers making their way into the bus stop. Really sideways there for Williams, but everyone's still single file going into the carousel. Alex Kierfin is only about 4/10 back from Michael Kruger. He got a great restart there, really fired off well. Really hear these trucks thunder down through the short chute in the turn 6 and then eventually in the turn 7.
Alex Kierfin doing a great job here on this restart. On the initial start, he botched the inner loop and lost tons of positions. He had to fight all those back. He was one of the fastest trucks in some parts of that opening stage, but the only thing was he abused the tires racing back through the pack. Here he is right on the back tailgate of Kruger. He's going to dive into turn 1 and maybe give a little bit of a bumper to the rear of the 14 as they head towards turn 2.
You can see Williams behind them kind of struggling on those old tires. We'll stay right here as the battle for the lead heats up. Alex Kierfin right on the rear tailgate of Michael Kruger going through the S's. So to get a little bit of that slipstream going down the back straightaway leading into the inner loop.
Couple positions back, Cameron Caldwell just took 5th from Jonathan Parker as he got by Ethan Moreno also a couple corners back, but they are all in line now. He's going to try and catch Siciliano, who is still stuck behind Elias.
Really great set of corners there for Michael Kruger. As we're going to go look back at Cameron Caldwell, as you mentioned. He sits behind Aaron Siciliano and Andrew Williams. Sorry, yeah. Aaron Siciliano and Andrew Williams, who are side by side right now, going into turn 6. Williams is going to concede that position to Aaron, and now Caldwell is going to try to pounce on that truck, who is struggling on those older tires. Looks like he's going to move to the inside, allow the 2 car to go on the outside. And now it's the 12 car, and the 12 car's job is to now chase down the 06. You see Jonathan Parker and Andrew Williams be side by side going through turn 1, as Williams is starting to continue to fall back, and he'll probably have to pit way sooner than the rest of the leaders just to get that new set of Mr. Feelgoods on him. These drivers go back down the back straightaway into the bus stop. You see a good gap between all the drivers, and Michael Kruger has gotten a almost second gap on Alex Kierfin. And you know, while we were talking to Michael, you can just see, you can feel and hear the confidence in his voice. And he's a really fast driver overall, and he's really fast tonight. So he's currently doing a great job keeping the 38 behind him and continually extending that gap, sorry.
You know, he's got over a second lead over Coffin now, so like you mentioned, extending that lead, that was a great lap time for the 14 over the 30 of Coffin, who lights the wheels up on exit of 1, going to allow Siciliano and Caldwell to close a little bit on that 30 machine as they head up the hill.
Cameron Caldwell did a really great job of getting through all those lap cars, as he currently sits behind Aaron Siciliano. Just a couple tenths back as we're on board with Cameron Caldwell now. You can see him just really pushing that truck through the bus stop. Keeping the car in second gear, the truck in second gear going into the carousel.
Almost had a collision at the exit of the bus stop. Ethan Moreno went wide through the second portion of the bus stop, went through the grass like we've seen a lot of drivers do tonight, but when he remerged into the carousel, almost collided with the 45 Dalton Kelly. Both keep going. That's the 7th position now, Kelly, as he tries to hunt down his teammate Andrew Elias on the older tire, while Moreno is going to, with his heated tire, is going to get challenged by Justin Durand.
Let's actually take a look back at that here. Thank you for mentioning that. It's a big racetrack. We kind of miss things from time to time. And I'm going to go back into the exit of the bus stop. Alright, you see Moreno here going through the bus stop. Oh yeah, he just gets 2 tires in that grass, trying to cut it just a little bit too much. And they kept a pretty good gap there going into the carousel, so great job by those 2 drivers. And that is your JCTV replay. So we're going to focus back in on the Alex Kierfin. He's getting some pressure put on him by Arian Siciliano. And actually, Kierfin is actually kind of starting to reel in Michael a little bit. I think Michael was starting to think about saving his tires, as it was about over a second gap. And now it's almost got a little bit of loose at the 06 of Aaron Siciliano. Kind of maybe tried to get his nose out and yank the wheel a little bit too hard. Or actually, he might have gotten loose, but he's trying to outbrake the 30 going into turn 1. 30 goes wide. 06 goes to the inside. Siciliano trying to take the spot back from Alex Kierfin, but Kierfin got a really good exit there on the 1, but these trucks battling is just allowing Michael Kruger to start pulling away further and further.
And it's allowing Kevin Caldwell to set up Aaron Siciliano right here for a pass down the back straightaway. Let's see if he makes a move into the bus stop. Not quite close enough as they head into turn 5.
Yeah, but is it going through the inner loop or, bus stop, whatever you want to call it? That's a corner of many names. So come back down through the carousel. Siciliano, not as close as he was, but Michael Kruger pulled away a lot from those drivers battling. So you can really see Siciliano is really good at closing in on those corner entries. But when you dive into the corner like that, you're going to suffer on corner exit. As he carries a lot of speed through turn 7, going back down on the front straightaway. See what all these drivers do. Siciliano goes to the inside. Looks like Kierfin got maybe a little bit out of shape there on the exit of 1. Now that's a pass for the 06. 06 will take second. So we have a 3-truck battle for a second as the 30 gets really loose there in the middle of the S's, about turn 4, I think, or turns 3 or 4. Caldwell is now looking to the inside for 3rd, and he completes that pass. Maybe something wrong there with Alex Kierfin, as he just had a really bad set of corners there, and he's continually to struggle. Looks like he's really, really loose. Super duper unfortunate because he was doing really, really well early in this run.
Yeah, that 30 truck's not up to pace yet. Still, compared to the other trucks he's racing, losing a lot of time to those 3 ahead of him now. And meanwhile, that was all going. Problem for his teammate of Justin Durand. He went from 11th to now the 14th position. Trouble for Cameron Caldwell, right in front of Kofin. He gets loose and loses a spot to Kofin. So now 3 issues for Radius trucks and within 2 laps. Real quick, back to Durand, Bennett. He got loose off of turn 1, spun, got nosed into the inside tire wall. He's able to keep going though, but I'm not sure what happened to Caldwell right there.
I want to take a look at Justin Duran's incident first here. Give me a second. We'll reverse it all the way back. Oh, it's coming out of turn 1. You see him go, takes it kind of really wide into turn 1, and then he just got loose and looped it around. Actually didn't touch the wall. Super duper unfortunate for the 5. He's had a really solid outing there. And he's still trucking. Now we're looking at Cameron Caldwell's incident. As he actually got loose on that last lap.
It looks like he slowed down to approach pit road, but I think that's definitely what couldn't have been happening. The engine shut off for a second, so maybe he just clutched in, give a position up. Maybe he got a time penalty for some reason, but looked very unique just to see him slow down on the straightaway suddenly. But yeah, he's back up right behind the 30 now live Bennett.
Yeah, so those are your replays brought to you by JCTV. Caldwell back up to speed. I think maybe he had a time penalty or something. But super duper unfortunate that he has to lose that spot in all that time. But he's starting to reel in Alex Kierfin again. And he's trying to make a pass maybe here through the bus stop. As he's way faster than that 30. And the 30, oh! 30 almost goes around. He's in the wall. Oh my goodness. As he's going to try to get it fired back. And hopefully it doesn't pull in front of him. But he's struggling to get that truck going again. As he's going to continue to lose spots. Oh my goodness.
We rev it there in the grass a little bit. Luckily, he's able to keep it low enough for Michael Wallace and Justin Duran were able to avoid him. But that is a terrible situation gone worse for Alex Kofin. That is a classic bus stop crash, Bennett. Just going too hot, trying to exit the bus stop, going back onto the normal racetrack, and he just bounced down that curb a little bit too fast. Or maybe not even the curb, but when he just hooked that right, Bennett way too fast, and it just spun him right towards that wall.
Super duper unfortunate for that 30 truck, as he was actually doing a really good job keeping pace with those leaders. Get you another angle of this accident for the 30 truck. Get you at full speed here. As you were saying, he just went. Yeah, he just went through the bus stop way too hard and too fast, and just gets it right on the wall. Super duper unfortunate for that driver, like we said, but he's still trucking right now, still on the racetrack. Currently sitting in the 14th spot, so he lost all that time and all those positions. Super duper unfortunate for him. Even though it does look like a lot of damage on that left side, it's actually really not that bad. He'll, I don't think that it'll hurt that truck that bad, but super duper unfortunate. So we're gonna go back up to Michael Kruger. Man, he's putting on a show as he's just pulled away from this field. Currently 2 seconds back from Alan Siciliano. As he's going into turn 1 and looking at the cars that are on pit road or who have decided to leave. We have Matthew Stotts, and let's actually look at the list. Matthew Stotts, Christian Pacheco, Ryan Bogey, Daniel Saponsky, and Shane O'Neill. Shane O'Neill, I don't think he even started. Maybe he did. And
I believe Shane only did 1 lap.
So it looks like the starting park for Shane O'Neill. Don't know what happened to Matthew Stotts. I think Chris Pacheco just got really loose there. And we saw him struggling early in that stage. So super unfortunate for those drivers. And we saw Ryan Bogey maybe just get tired of the racetrack and park it. But those drivers are all your drivers who are out of the race or on pit road. Super unfortunate for them. But we're continuing to watch our leader, Michael Kruger, pull away 10th by 10th every lap on these drivers.
Yeah, Bennett, in the opening stage, we saw that big right side damage scraped up on Matthew Stotts. I looked back and saw he got into the wall going into the bus stop, like you maybe predicted. Indeed, he did, and tore up that right side of that 17 truck. And at the stage break, he decided to park it. When he came into the pits, he just left it there and got out. So that's where he sits still. And Pacheco, I had to check to see what happened to him. I think he got loose off that final corner, and I wasn't sure what it was, if he just got too much damage or what, but it sounded like the engine blew, or maybe just a money shift leaving turn 7. But he had a handful of that truck, and night cut short one way or the other for that 88.
Super unfortunate for those drivers, as they probably had a good race ahead of them. As continue to watch Michael Kruger. This man is a man on a mission. He's a rocket. Last lap time, he was only about almost a tenth faster than Aaron Siciliano. Michael ran a 1:14.905. Aaron Siciliano ran a 1:14.984. But the fastest truck on track is not Michael Kruger. It is your man sitting in third place, the man on a mission, Cameron Caldwell.
Yeah, he sits 5.5 seconds behind. We'll see how much of that tire he conserved in the early part of this run, and let's see if he's unleashed himself. Speaking of retirees, though, Bennett, we just had Michael Wallace pull into pit road this last lap, and he missed the pit road, first of all, when he tried to pull in. I think he hit one of the walls down there and then disconnected, so his night is over.
Let's actually get a replay of that. I'm intrigued to see what happened.
He actually just came to a stop, actually. He didn't even hit the wall. As soon as he got past the yellow line, he just pulled to the left and parked it.
Yeah.
But he was racing Justin Duran and just decided to pit and call it a night.
A lot of drivers getting probably tired of this racetrack, so super duper unfortunate.
Being an overwhelmingly only league, a lot of guys not big road course fans don't get a lot of road reps, so just come here, collect points, and once you fulfill that goal and you get sick of it, just call it a night, I'd say.
Honestly, I don't blame them. This track can be very difficult, very frustrating, and you know, it asks a lot about your tires and asks a lot for your tires. But as we're coming really, really close to halfway here, next time by, it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy these drivers pull. Assuming pit window will still be in about 10 or so laps. But I bet you some of these drivers are starting to think about it and getting ready to pull that strategy that might give them the win. And really only the top 3 drivers have that chance. There will be no more full course yellows for the rest of the race. There can't be a wreck big enough that will cause the admins to throw a yellow, because people can reset within the time to get the leader, to that part of the racetrack. So it's all about strategy, and I really think we have 3 drivers to think about who have a chance to win this race. Michael Kruger, who's in first, Aaron Siciliano, who's in second, and Cameron Caldwell, who's in third. Looking
and
right
that's
behind.
as long as they minimize mistakes. Sorry, Bennett, but that's what Kruger mentioned when we spoke to him in his stage win interviews. Just minimize mistakes and have none of those here in these last half of this race.
Yeah, and he's doing a really good job at that. Siciliano's kind of pulled in just a little bit, getting that lead kept right about 2 seconds. As we're looking at Jonathan Parker here in 4th place. Maybe thinking about his fuel, saving a little bit. Literally sounded like he was clutching going through the last 2 corners. He's having himself a pretty solid race. That truck looks clean as it can be. And he's actually right on pace with the leaders. Last lap time was a 1:13.9. And Caldwell's last lap time was a 1:13.8. So he's doing a really good job. But Michael Kruger is doing an even better job right now. As we keep talking about him, he's just really fast tonight. He's the fastest truck on track almost at all points of the day. As currently in 5th place will be the 45 Dalton Kelly. Dalton also has nobody around him, and he's just minding his own P's and Q's. And that can be a really big mental battle for these drivers of when they're all by themselves, not battling with anybody, to try not to make mistakes. And I think he's doing a really good job at that. And he's sitting in 5th. Behind him will be Ethan Franz. I'm going to butcher his name as long as he lives or stays on this series. Ethan Fonseca Morano, currently sitting in P6. Last lap time was a 1:14.9, so a little bit further off pace than some of these drivers. But he's doing a really good job right now as he's sliding into turn 6 there. Doing a really good job keeping his car going straight. Just a little bit of damage on the nose, but I think he got that fixed during the last caution, and he's doing a really good job keeping the truck going the right direction. Behind him, Andrew Willius, who pitted it early during that last during the stage break, and he pitted 4 laps before the stage. And look at him, you know, tires are kind of evened out a little bit, and he's doing pretty well in P7. So I guess it might have been maybe a net gain or something like that, but he's doing a really good job sitting in 7th place right now. Behind him is Brett Bennett in that scary Horrors of Nebraska Ford F-150. Just not too far behind Andrew Willius, about 4 seconds. Another driver just minding his own P's and Q's. Last lap time was a 1:16.4, so it's a little bit further off pace than some of the other drivers, but again, he's just keeping his truck clean and doing a really good job at it. Behind him will be Gary Sack, sitting in 9th place in that Michigan Silverado. Some damage on the left side of that truck, but he's doing a pretty good job in that 89 machine. And inside the top 10 and just trying to keep that truck clean for the most part. As I said, he has a little bit of damage on that left side, but that should be all right. Behind him is Jamie Richmond. We talked about him earlier, making moves in the back of the pack. He has worked his way into the top 10. His lap time was a 1:17.7, so pretty good. About 2 seconds off pace, but again, his truck looks pretty clean, and he's just trying to finish this race without a scratch, and I think he's going to do that. Another one of those drivers that's really clean and respectable, and hopefully we'll see him in the playoffs at the end of the year. 11th will be Justin Duran, and behind him will be Alex Kirfan, or Kirfan, my bad. Both of these drivers done pretty well today, and they're within about a second, 2 seconds of each other. Alex Kirfan, who wrecked earlier, not too long ago, kind of doing good rebounding from it. He's gained a couple spots, gained about 2 or 3, and he's one of the faster drivers out of the back half of this field. So it'll be exciting to see if he can make his way back through the field and strategize on trying to get, you know, as many spots as he can. Behind him is David Duran. David Duran has a really good gap on Alex Kirfan of almost 10 seconds, or actually more than that, about 12, 13 seconds behind Alex Kirfan. I guess he's just trying to have a clean race. I don't think he expected much out of his day. Excuse me. And he's just keeping that truck clean, and he is currently sitting in the 13th position. And Caleb McCurry is not too far behind him. Caleb, I think, is one of these drivers who's just trying to learn and do his best to keep his nose clean as he's getting through the bus stop right now. There's a little bit of damage on that right rear, but I don't think it's anything too much to worry about. And I think he's doing his job of keeping that truck clean, keeping it going the right way, and maybe learning a lot while he's doing it. So there's a little bit of a rundown through the field as everyone is way spread out, and we're just awaiting green flag pit stops to happen. We're going to go ahead and show you the last pit stop from these drivers. Michael Kruger, lap 19. All these drivers should be just around the same lap. Looks like Cameron Caldwell brought it down pit road to get probably back to the back of the pack after, or sorry, not that. I guess he just pitted a lap later than all these drivers or something. As he has, or a lap earlier. My bad. A lot of thoughts going through my brain right now, it sounds like, but he is currently in second with 1 lap more than all these drivers on tires. But actually looks like Cameron Caldwell got by Aaron Siciliano at some point, unless he's already been in front of him. But Aaron Siciliano had a 1:20 lap time last time by. So I'm actually going to see if anything happened to him. Did you see anything, Adam, or?
I was not watching Siciliano at the time, but I'm checking right now. He went wide and won, skateboarded that curb, and almost got the wall in 2. He locked the brakes up, did a good job on not hitting the wall that sent, I believe, David Ruderman and David Reagan flying a couple years, about 10 years ago by now. He did a great job locking the brakes down. Wow.
What a save.
Could have been mega.
It could have been a very bad time for him, but he saved it and he kept it going. Only lost 1 position to Cameron Caldwell, as he's still making his way around this racetrack in 3rd place, 5 seconds behind Michael Kruger.
Yeah, you mentioned only 1 position lost, but like you mentioned just there, it's now about 5.5 seconds behind Kruger, so that's a lot of time lost to not only the 14 but to the 12. So we will see how that's going to shake out once these pit cycles begin here in a couple laps, and the fight to the finish really begins. The sprint to the finish, really.
We're going to go on board here for a little bit with Michael Kruger and the Piss and Broke Racing on board. Still putting down pretty fast lap times. That last time by, both Aaron Siciliano and Cameron Caldwell were faster by a couple tenths. And you see you get a little squirrely coming out of the bus stop. So looks like the age of those tires are finally going to catch back up with them. You can kind of just hear him slide as he's coming up on the first lap truck of the day. And that will be our friend, Mr. Caleb McCurry. You can kind of hear the higher but lower RPMs that Michael Kruger's, running. Just to try to keep those tires from spinning, but he's getting really loose, lap in and lap out. So he's going to try to bog it down going into turn 1. You see him kind of getting a little bit loose under braking and under downshifting. And so far, the fastest car on track will be the 81 of Jonathan Parker. So it's good for him. Let's continue to be on board with him. Let's go on to Jonathan Parker, the InThePitsNews Truck Series Season 3 Championship on board. Let's see how loose he is. He gets in the grass a little bit there on exit of the S's going into the bus stop. Does a really good job getting through the bus stop here, using up as much curb as he can. And now he's going to do. Looks like Gary Sack just lost a couple positions. Looks like he might have went wide. Actually, take a look here. Oh, okay. Looks like the 89 got into the wall here. See him going down in the turn 1. Just carries way too much speed. And loose it straight into the tire barrier. Really significant contact. He got it going and only lost 2 spots in the ordeal, but that was super unfortunate. Actually, kind of weird. Maybe he kind of lost concentration or something, but Gary Sack goes around.
Yeah, that's definitely weird. It doesn't look like he locked the tires up, but he was flying down to turn 1 about 100 miles an hour once he got to the apex of the turn, which is way too fast for a 90-degree turn. He's very thankful, though. It's just a little bit of tire barriers over there now and not a sand pit.
Still significant contact with that tire barrier. He lost 2 positions and now currently sits 11th outside the top 10. But that just continues Alex Kierfin's, track on gaining positions as he's now back inside the top 10 after wrecking on the exit of the bus stop, early in this, early in this stage. Here in the ITPN Truck Series, we only have 1 stage, but it just sets up a really long run. So, he's gonna miss the bus stop there. He's gonna blow through the bus stop and be really slow. You don't have to come to a complete stop, but you do have to serve that slowdown penalty that the iRacing officials give you. So he's going to lose a lot of time to Justin Duran, who's in front of him. I think he might be struggling on old tires as well. It looks like Cameron Caldwell had an issue because Siciliano's right behind him. And there to be a battle here. We're going to wait to see what happened as Cameron Caldwell's going to look to the left side of Siciliano going into the bus stop. Harder on the brakes than Siciliano. He gets by Siciliano going into the bus stop and gains that position back. I wonder what happened. Oh, it looks like Jonathan Parker went around behind him.
Caldwell did the same thing that happened to Gary Sack a couple laps ago, except he was lucky enough to keep it out of the tire barrier, but that held him up like you mentioned.
Let's go ahead and get the replay of Jonathan Parker, who just went around in the bus stop. I don't think he hit anything.
He caught Caleb McCurry, the lap truck, at the... McCurry didn't do anything wrong, but I think it might have surprised Parker to see that truck there.
Oh, no, actually, he went into the grass, touched the grass a little bit, sent that truck around. He actually kept it straight. He didn't do a full 360. Super duper unfortunate because he just lost a bunch of time and he was very, very fast. As I'm going to look back at the Caldwell incident. You said he was going into turn 1 and did almost exactly what Gary Sack did.
And meanwhile, live, both Siciliano and Caldwell have come into the pit stalls, and they're taking their final pit stop right now, I believe, Bennett. They both hit their boxes perfectly, and then right now the right side's both up on the other trucks.
Yeah, you're going to see Cameron Caldwell's going to be the first one off pit road. Siciliano actually had a really great stop there as well. You see McCurry behind him, a lap truck also coming down pit road with these drivers. You see the 12 cars going to come out right in front of Justin Duran and Alex Kirfan. And looks like Cameron only loses about 4 or 5 spots. Now it's Siciliano's job to get around Justin Durand. You can see how much better, fresher tires are as he's going to easily get by Justin Durand. And now he's going to set his sights back on Cameron Caldwell. Looks like we have some contact in front of us. I hear it, but I don't know if it actually is any trouble. It doesn't look like it ahead of us.
Kruger's hit pit road, and Jonathan Parker's going to stay out.
Michael Kruger is on pit road, as he just said. We're going to watch his pit stop as he is our leader. He's going to get to his box pretty well. Go ahead.
Real quick, Bennett. Jeremy Richmond, a couple laps ago, came down pit road, pulled in, parked it, called it done for the night, so he's going to take home 14th position, I believe.
Super duper unfortunate for him, but he'll still get top 15. So Michael Kruger's coming off pit road, and a bunch of drivers behind him coming down pit road. Almost some contact back there. Alex Kirfan, Justin Duran, Brett Bennett's on pit road. I believe Ethan is also. But Jonathan Parker going through the bus stop right now, electing not to pit. And behind him, Dalton Kelly as well. 26 laps on these tires. And everyone else has already been on pit road. So it'll be interesting to see what they're trying to do. Maybe they're going to take only right sides, left sides, or just fuel. Try to play a little strategy. So maybe Jonathan Parker's going to go as long as he can and just take fuel, which would be very dangerous because he's going to be very much slower than all the leaders. But maybe the tires will also even out. There's a lot of factors here that these drivers are balancing. Jonathan Parker's going to stay on a racetrack. We'll look back at Dalton Kelly as well.
And David Durand were on pit road, and Zach missed his pit box just slightly, so he had to back it up a couple feet to get back in his box, but he's going to stay ahead of Durand, leaving pit road.
Dalton Kelly's going to pull on the pit road, leaving Jonathan Parker, the only driver on the racetrack who has not pitted yet in this cycle. In second place will be Michael Kruger, who was your leader before pit stop cycled through. Cameron Caldwell and Aaron Siciliano within half a second of each other, currently sitting third and fourth, waiting for Jonathan Parker to pit. Be a great battle brewing between these two drivers, as they've been basically right near each other all race. And I don't think anybody has anything for Michael Kruger. He's currently sitting at the top, or in second place, waiting for Jonathan Parker to pit.
Well, despite Cameron's issue going into turn 1 handful of laps ago by now, he's only 3 seconds behind Kruger, and now with Siciliano in his mirror, first time tonight we've seen that 12 truck in P2. Once everything's going to be cycled out here in a moment, but can he put the visor down and focus forward on that 14 truck?
Yes, I believe he can, as 81's now pulling down on the pit road. That will give Michael Kruger the lead, as we're going to watch that happen live here. As he had a very big gap on him. It'd be probably around like 10 seconds. So we count down 4 seconds, 3 seconds. You see him behind him. Michael Kruger crosses the line, and he is going to assume race lead here. 2 seconds behind him will be Cameron Caldwell, who we've been talking to. And he has about a second gap on Aaron Siciliano. So Michael Kruger is just doing his thing. Coming about 23, 24 laps to go. Oh, he gets really loose there. Kind of gets on those curbs. Those curbs can be like ice.
Cameron Caldwell, last time by that 12 truck, was 0.7 of a second faster than Kruger.
Caldwell really pushing the issue, trying to gain as much time as he can. These drivers roll through the bus stop into the carousel. About a second and 8/10 separate these drivers. As you can see, this long short suit. It's supposed to be short, but it's not really that short. That's what they call it. Leading into the penultimate corners.
In fact, that last lap Caldwell set was the fastest lap of the entire race.
Yeah, Cameron Caldwell set a lap of 1:13.709 the last time by.
Actually, no. Siciliano has the best lap of the race. A 1:13.35. That's an incredible lap that we've seen all weekend. 2 laps ago, he set that, and he just set another one just last time by for himself. So a lot of speed for second and third right now, trying to chase down Kruger.
Yeah, those drivers really pushing the issue on those fresh tires. You can see that the lap times have already fallen off into the 14s. You know, as a practice and qualifying, we didn't see much 1:13 lap times. Now we're seeing all these fast drivers run it. There's Jonathan Parker also on the freshest tires on a 1:13.919 that last time by.
And Kruger is now matching these lap times finally. He is back down a 1:14.069 to Caldwell's 14.084. These lap times are incredibly close.
Just imagine if these drivers were nose to tail, man. That'd be an awesome race to watch. But, you know, there's a lot of places to gain and lose time. So that's what kind of creates this diverse range of spacing in between drivers. So we're watching this top 3. Jonathan Parker is 21 seconds behind Michael Kruger. That is a separation between first and fourth. That is amazing. So it's just it baffles me how big this gap is between these drivers. 21 seconds between the leaders and Jonathan Parker. As there's a little bit of a battle brewing between Ethan Morano and Dalton Kelly. Dalton Kelly on a little bit fresher tires than Morano. So they're coming through the last couple of corners, going down the front straightaway. About a second gap between Dalton Kelly and Ethan Fresca Morano. See Dalton Kelly here going through the S's. See Ethan actually kind of getting wide on the X of those S's. He's going to lose that momentum going into that final S's corner. They go in the wall ball. Oh, almost a little bit of trouble between the lap car, the 29, and Ethan. That was very tight, but everyone got through, hopefully unharmed. As you can see, Dalton Kelly really chasing them down now after that mistake with the lap car. As he's looking to pass the 43. Really great battle here. This is the closest battle on track, so we're going to stay with these guys until we find something else. Only about half a second-ish separates these two drivers, about 3 or 4 car lengths. Be right on that rear tailgate of the 43 of Ethan Morano. Morano goes a little bit wide there in turn 3 with a second turn on the S's portion of the racetrack. He's right on that back tailgate going into the bus stop. 43 out breaks the 45. 45 is going to get a really good roll through center. Touches the grass a little bit on the exit. That's not going to affect his truck that much, as they keep that gap in between them.
You can see Kelly attack deep on the braking zones compared to Ethan Morano. He does a great job trying to ride that truck through the center of the corner and use as much momentum as possible. And he's peeking to the left here, entering 6th, not going to be able to make it happen here. And maybe try and set up for a front straightaway shot this time.
Yeah, he's right on that tailgate now. He's going to look to the outside of the 43. 43 is going to protect that low line going through the final corner here. 45 tried the crossover, just couldn't generate the run. He's going to get a good run here. Maybe the 43 a little bit down on power after the contact with the lap car. It does look like he had a lot of damage on the nose of that truck. 43 is going to outbrake him. Maybe, oh, he's a little bit wide through the corner. 45 is going to look to the inside. Good run off the exit for the 43 truck. really great battle between these two drivers. They're both battling for the 5th position, so they're both battling for a top 5 finish. A little bit silent here as you can hear the sounds of racing here on the iRacing service.
Up front, slowly shrink the last handful of laps. It went from about 3.5 seconds to now a second and a half between Kruger and Caldwell. I think it's going to be a battle the last 18, 19 laps here between these two for the win. And of course, don't count Siciliano out. He is going to be in the picture. It's going to be, I think, a thrilling finish the way it's setting up right now. Ooh, great setup there by Dalton. Can't make it work on X. He's going to cross him over a second time. Oh yeah, that is wide in turn 2 is not a great spot at all, Ben. I sat there this year, and it was the place to be when it rained in the Cup race. But as soon as it dried, you mentioned the marbles. That's where they build up the worst at this racetrack, and you see how much time he lost right there because of that. Yeah, I had mentioned that lead had shrunk. Kruger had actually extended it back up there that last time by, and Siciliano pressured Caldwell back in. So anything can happen here. A long way to go, obviously. A lot of laps, or lap time left in the race, and these two are going to have to maneuver David Durand yet. Of course, Bennett. But meanwhile, real quick up front, David Durand has pulled out of the way for Siciliano and Caldwell, so no issue up front. But Kruger's about to catch Gary's sack here in a moment. Oh, trouble in the inner loop. Brett Bennett and Alex Kerfin almost got together. Kerfin was loose as all get out trying to leave the bus stop. He was side by side with Bennett and a little bit upset. He couldn't get the power down and, like I said, almost lost the back of that truck trying to get back going into the carousel. That was the battle for P8. And live, these two are still going at it. Of course, Bennett, a great job there. Loose, both of them sideways climbing the S's, and both had to get out of the throttle in very, very awkward positions. You don't want to have to lose the power. And back into the inner loop, Kerfin, all over the curb, trying to get to the inside of the 47. Now he is on the inside through the inner loop. I mean, the outer loop here, the long winding carousel. Gonna get on the curb, contact. And both drivers just keyed up on the voice chat and just complimented each other on that battle. So that was started off a little bit fiery with the contact in the inner loop, but ends with pretty great battle, like you mentioned, Bennett, and like both those drivers just respected around on the racetrack.
I just noticed my mic was muted for a very long time, so my apologies for that. We also have some probably silent...
Oh, huge slide from Kruger there off that corner, Bennett.
I don't know how long my mic was muted, but we're going to stay right here as we have Cameron Caldwell currently reeling in Michael Kruger, as Adam said. Had a huge slide there on the exit of the carousel, and now the gap is within about 5/10. I made a little joke of once Cameron Caldwell got within a second, that was DRS time. This is stock car racing, this isn't F1, as Michael Kruger, or Cameron Caldwell rather, getting around the lap car on McCurry. And it is now a 4-second gap with 11 laps to go between Michael Kruger and Cameron Caldwell. Michael Kruger kind of feeling the heat, feeling the pressure. See how loose he is. He's working that wheel. He doesn't want to look behind him even to keep his eyes forward. Assuming this will be a great battle between these two drivers. The 12 car gets a little loose on entry into the bus stop. 4 tenths, 3 tenths between these two drivers. Still 10 laps to go in this race. 10 and maybe 11 or 12 grueling minutes left for these drivers trying to save their position.
There was an incident just ahead of them. Justin Duran got into the wall, leaving the carousel. He is only a couple truck lengths ahead of these guys at the time. He overcooked the exit of the carousel, revved the rear tires up, lit them up, and when he got back on the accelerator, put him right into the inside wall. He's able to keep going though for the time being.
We'll see if we can take a look at that a little bit later, as we're still looking at the battle for the lead heating up between Cameron Caldwell and Michael Kruger.
Yeah, it's very insignificant damage on that 5. The only thing is he is almost directly in front of the leaders before that, and now he is going to probably play a factor in this finish, trying to stay on this lead lap here. And he is the only driver this season to complete every lap so far. He wants to keep that record continuing, something I don't think he really anticipated, to keep in track, to keep in streak tonight. He's not a big road course fan, but he has the opportunity to make it happen right now. As Kruger overcooks the entry to the bus stop a little bit there, Bennett.
Yeah, he was kind of out of frame, but that's going to allow Cameron Caldwell to start reeling him right back in. They were kind of even through that last lap. Michael Kruger was actually faster, but that one mistake causes Cameron Caldwell to be right back on the tailgate of Michael Kruger. Cameron Caldwell, as we mentioned earlier in the race, is the CEO, so to speak, of this league, and he's really looking to get himself a win for the season here at Watkins Glen. We said earlier in an interview that we had that he's not really a big fan of ovals. When he gets to these road courses, he just seems to be really, really fast. So he's trying to capitalize on his skill level here at the road courses. Currently right on the rear bumper of the 14. Gets a little bit squirrely coming off of turn 1 as they go down into the S's. Battle heating up between these two guys. Michael Kruger really eating out those curbs. So far throughout this lap, he's gained 2 tenths on Cameron Caldwell. I think Michael Kruger is starting to understand the assignment here and trying to get that gap back. But don't look now, Aaron Siciliano currently in 3rd place. Has been just a little bit faster than both of these guys last couple laps. Actually not a little bit, almost a whole 5 tenths faster. So he's starting to reel in these guys too. And I think we have a great battle and a great finish looking, for the end of this race between these 3 drivers. Adam, with 8 laps to go, we're looking at these 3 drivers. Do you think Aaron Siciliano has the opportunity or even the chance to try to go take a win from these 2 drivers, or from Cameron Caldwell and Michael Kruger?
He's going to need a lot of help on his side. He's going to need the 12 and the 14 to get closer together and obviously race each other very hard, and maybe open the door for him to close in and make it a 3-truck race, or maybe get very lucky and have them just wipe each other out. That's going to be best case scenario. But what he wants to have happen is Caldwell get up there, race the 14, and then both of them use their stuff up, and he's able to just to blow right by them and not have to race it out. But I mean, of course, both are gonna try and not have to worry about the 06 and just worry about the other. But with him right there stalking, it's not that simple.
Yeah, and he's second and about 6 tenths back, as the battle is kind of evened out here, as they're still very close quarters, but they're all running pretty even lap times. But I say that, but Aaron Siciliano, man, he is so much faster than all these drivers. That last lap was 2 tenths better. So I think he might have actually have a chance to steal this from these guys, because he's only the only one running fast lap times out of all 3.
And I mentioned Justin Duran's streak of lead lap finishes in every race this season. You know, complete every lap. It might be an end right here as he's getting lapped on the back straightaway. Pulls out of the way for these 3 leaders to keep up this 3-way battle for the win.
Yeah, we're all within 2 seconds of each other. Interesting to see what kind of tenths, I guess you can say, that Cameron Caldwell and Aaron Siciliano can gain on Michael Kruger. Cameron Caldwell, for the last about 3 or 4 laps, has stayed around 6-7 tenths back. So you can kind of see the strengths and weaknesses of Michael Kruger, who's currently up front. So I'm going to look on the gearbox. Not really the gearbox, just the back of Michael Kruger's truck. And the Piston Broker Racing on board here. Kind of look behind him. You can see him kind of clutch a little bit going through turn 1. Maybe trying to save a little bit of gas, but you can hear that truck go silent. See Cameron Caldwell get really loose on the exit there. Getting on those curbs. He's going to lose about almost 2 tenths there just on corner exit. You see how smooth Michael is through these corners. Just see how close they get to that inside wall. Really great set of corners for Cameron Caldwell. Gains a 10th back there. We'll see who can roll center better between these 2 drivers. Cameron Caldwell lost a couple tenths there in turn 1, but gained them both right back. He's back within 6 tenths of a second between him and Michael Kruger. Don't look now, Siciliano's still back there, kind of trying to reel in Cameron Caldwell. And we're coming to 5 laps to go here at Watkins Glen in the Blazer Sim Racing InThePitsNews Truck Series here on JCTV. All these drivers are pretty even between each other right now. Last time by, Michael Kruger was second fastest. Aaron Siciliano ran a 1:15.664. Then Michael Kruger a 1:15.758. Then Cameron Caldwell with a 1:15.807. Oh, looks like great battle here.
Siciliano is there.
He is there.
Yeah, great run through the S's.
Glad I saw that. We'll look at the battle for a second between Aaron Siciliano and Cameron Caldwell. Siciliano just looks like he had fresher tires almost, how much he's driving up to these guys, but it's like Caldwell might have maybe had an issue or something because he just lost a lot of time there through the S's. Michael Kruger kind of has more of a more comfortable gap between Caldwell and Siciliano. About a 1.3 second gap between the 2 drivers.
Caldwell went really wide in 6, and that allowed the door for Siciliano
contact.
to put the bumper in 7. And yeah, I think Siciliano caught the wall there, and that slowed him down tremendously.
He falls from 1.5 seconds back all the way to 2.7, 2.6, and now he's starting to gain that time back. While we have the moment, let's get a replay brought to you by JCTV. Going to roll all the way back, entering turn 6.
Like maybe a missed shift on that 06 machine. Got right on the back tailgate of the 12.
Yeah, see him go through 7 here.
Go.
Doesn't even make contact. It just loses power or something. Let's go back and go on board with the 06 here.
Sounds like he missed a shift, but I can't quite tell, Bennett.
We'll go on board to find out for you. The nose cam here of the 06. See him roll the corner here. It's right there. Hits the brakes, kind of slides the tires a little bit. It's like he like shifted down into a way lower gear or something. The RPMs didn't go super high. It's super interesting, super weird. Is still on board here with Aaron Siciliano. So they're reeled back in Cameron Caldwell, 10th by 10th again. As there's 3 laps to go here at Watkins Glen as wow, he goes really wide in 1. I think he might get a slowdown penalty there. It'll be close to see if he does or doesn't. I see Cameron Caldwell starting to reel in Michael Kruger again, but there's just some points in the track Michael is just faster than him. And it's just really interesting to see these two guys duke it out, you know, lap times wise, because they're not really close enough to each other to be beating banging. So, you know, we're really just comparing lap times here.
Yeah, those few mistakes really, really spread out this top three. Bennett really way out.
Yeah, just those little tiny mistakes in little parts of the racetrack can make or break a race. But overall, it's been a really great battle between these drivers. I'm going to go through the field one last time as Michael Kruger is going to go 2 to go. You have Michael Kruger P1, Cameron Caldwell P2, Aaron Siciliano P3. P4 is Jonathan Parker, who's dealing with David Duran and Gary Sack lap cars in front of him. Behind him will be Dalton Kelly in fifth, who eventually got by Ethan Morano, who's in the 6th. A lot of damage to the nose of that car. 7th place will be Alex Kierfin. 8th place will be Andrew Villius, not too far behind the 30 truck. And P9 will be Brett Bennett. P10 will be Justin Duran. He has a lot of damage on the mobile from the incident that you mentioned earlier. Gary Sack will be P11. So Justin Duran will round out, or actually Justin Duran is a lap down, so Brett Bennett will be the last car on the lead lap. As we go back up front, as looks like maybe Michael Kruger might have made a mistake at some point. Cameron Caldwell is within 7/10, as they're coming up on the 47 of Brett Bennett, so Brett Bennett will go a lap down, and that makes Andrew Williams the last car on the lead lap. 9/10 separate the first place driver, Michael Kruger. Now about a second. Cameron Caldwell got really loose coming out of the carousel, but about a second between Michael Kruger, who's your leader, and Cameron Caldwell, who's in second.
I didn't see a mistake out of Kruger that last lap, so I think it's just Caldwell really driving this truck really hard as Kruger's going to come and take the white flag here.
Yeah, just like you said, white flag in the air. One more lap here in the InThePitsNews Truck Series on JCTV. 9/10, about a second maybe in between Michael Kruger and Cameron Caldwell. Cameron Caldwell losing a bunch of time, maybe going a little bit wide there. Don't have the greatest camera angle. Go in the gearbox of Michael Kruger. Yeah, it looks like Cameron Caldwell made a little mistake there in exit 1. See that gap going from almost under a second to a second and a half. Cameron Caldwell, great set of corners, got really loose coming out of the bus stop. Gonna keep it on board here with Michael Kruger just for a little bit longer, as he's gonna get a great exit. As you see his Chevy Silverado coming through the penultimate corners. His Spooky Season McDonald's Chevy Silverado coming through turn 7 into the front straightaway. He will be your winner here at Watkins Glen International Raceway. Coming in second will be Cameron Caldwell, third Aaron Siciliano. Jonathan Parker, who's way back there. I was going to give him a chance to come out of turn 4. You'll see Justin Duran here, a lap car. He'll come and take the 12th spot. We're waiting on Jonathan Parker. Here he comes, coming out of turn 7. Jonathan Parker will take P4. You have Dalton Kelly going to be P5. You'll see the Gary Sack and David Duran across the start-finish line, both of them finishing 11th and 12th respectively. There you go, coming out of turn 4 will be the last car still running, 13th place, Caleb McCurry. Now coming out of turn 4 will be Dalton Kelly. Will round out your top 5. Right behind him, Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Or Fonseca. There you go. I can finally read. 7th will be Alex Kierfin. Up and down day for him, but still a top 10 finish. Great job by him. 8th place will be Andrew Williams. Brett Bennett already crossed the start and finish line. He will finish P9, so that will round out your top 10. But your winner, Michael Kruger, is your race winner.
Yeah, huge congrats again to Michael Kruger here. Breaks an 18 race winless streak, Bennett. So, long time coming. He's been one of the best drivers this season, week in and week out. One of the fastest trucks almost every race, and he's finally put it together for that first race victory of the season. Um, Probably would have surprised a lot of people, especially himself, if we told him it would have come at this racetrack, I think.
You can see Michael Kruger burning it down. We were sorry for all the technical difficulties that I kind of put on. We had a moment, good point of time where my mic wasn't working. I was saying stuff, and y'all couldn't hear me. But everyone here at JCTV is just really proud to be part of ITPN. And here momentarily, we'll start getting drivers in here for their interviews. So you can see Michael Kruger still burning it down here in the front straightaway.
And quick before we go to interviews, Bennett, want to shout out JC Josh, who couldn't make it tonight, couldn't race either. Shame we couldn't see him out on the racetrack and put down some laps. And of course, Kentucky Nightmares, Dawson Allen. Really missed him tonight. Think he would have been a show on the track or in the booth with us, Bennett. And shout out to those guys for putting all their work into JCTV week in and week out, along with you, of course.
Yeah, huge shout out to Josh Coppernoll and everyone here at JCTV. Josh is kind of our boss and also our best friend, so looking out for him, just taking a break from ITPN. But we love you, Josh. We know you're listening. But looks like Michael Kruger's ready. Let's go ahead and bring in our lead or our winner, Michael Kruger, into the broadcast booth. Michael Kruger, our winner here at Watkins Glen. We talked to you after qualifying for getting the pole. We talked to you when you won the stage. Now you're here in Victory Lane. Just tell us how you're feeling after getting this win here.
Oh man, Ben, I'm just through the roof right now. I'm just so excited. It's so awesome to win a road course. I know they're tough to win by, and just absolute. Those last 20 laps were probably some of the most stressful laps I've ever had on a road course. I was sweating bullets with Cam right behind me, and Aaron too. I was absolutely just sweating the whole time.
Well, man, you dominated basically all this race, even after pit stops, man. Those are the only laps you didn't lead. I mean, up here in the booth, you just, you had a couple mistakes there late. I can see that, Cameron was really putting the pressure on. But then you just started driving away. Cameron and, Siciliano both, started making their own mistakes. So, you pulled away and you did really well, man. So everyone is, really proud of you, and just congratulations.
Thank you, Ben. I'm just so excited to win a race. It's been a while since I've won. I last won Dover last season. I've been winless for a bit, and I choked some away this year. I felt like I could have had a shot at, but it feels good to finally win one here. It feels so good.
I bet it does, man. And throughout the race, what's kind of going through your brain? Definitely when Cameron got the closest to you, almost right to your back bumper. Just tell us what the thoughts were going through your head.
That when he got to my bumper late, I was just trying to be smart and try not to make mistakes, because I'd make mistakes that kind of led him to catch me, and I was trying so hard to not make any more mistakes because I know how good he is at road courses. I mean, there's a damn good reason that he's the road course king here. He's won every road course here, and I mean, he's a great competitor. He had my number there. I thought he had my number, and I was just trying to limit mistakes the best I could and drive the best I could without abusing the tires. And it just all really just came down to just hitting my marks and just being patient, just doing what I've been doing all race, and don't do something out of the ordinary.
Yeah, man. Well, you did a heck of a job. Before we let you go, is there anybody want to tip your cap to?
Absolutely. I'd love to give my thanks to everyone at PBR. I'd love to give my thanks to Josh Coppernoll for giving me a shot at PBR. I'm so happy to get a win for PBR, and I got to thank my teammates, Caleb, Scott, and of course Josh. And I got to thank you guys, Adam and Bennett, for broadcasting this tonight. Thanks for doing this week to week almost. Thank you guys, and Yeah.
Well, no problem, man. We'll drag you back up to Piston Broker Racing Track. Congratulations on winning here at Watkins Glen, man.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. There was your winner, Michael Kruger. We're going to go ahead and bring in down Cameron Caldwell. If Adam, you want to take him.
Yeah, Cameron, you got a copy?
Yep.
Well, it was the second place run. You were third for the majority of the race, battled Aaron there in the last couple laps. What was that battle like against the 06 and then trying to close down Kruger last handful of laps?
Yeah, Aaron was not one of my biggest worries. It was just myself and obviously chasing down Kruger. There's just one or two too many mistakes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say. Just kind of very frustrated with myself. Yeah, I don't know. Just once I finally got to Kruger, those last few laps, just my fronts were all burned up and wouldn't turn anymore. So had nothing left, and well, came home second.
You mentioned mistakes. All three of you guys racing for that win made plenty of mistakes. First off, what did you see when you saw Aaron lock up the brakes and almost clear out the wall there in front of you entering turn 2, and then your issue in turn 1 almost doing the same thing with that tire stack?
Yeah, him messing up was definitely helpful because it, held me up less, and I just lost focus for a second and entering turn 1 and blew the corner. So I'm looking back at that right now thinking if that didn't happen, then I feel like I would have had a much better chance at running down Kruger and passing him. But big props to him. He's gotten a lot better since last season. He was already really good, obviously, but he seemed to find a little bit more long-run pace, and yeah, so big props to him.
Absolutely. Who else would you like to shout out for after a runner-up finish here tonight?
Just all my Radius guys, sponsors in the Pits News, C2 Graphics, Grid Network, Welcome Massage Therapy, Left Coast Rivals, RPS Marketing, my parents, grandparents are watching, and all the viewers watching. You guys are broadcasting, and see you in a couple weeks at Nashville.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, amazing job, Cameron. You did pretty well. Just trying to chase down. You made a couple mistakes, but you did really well.
Yep, thanks.
Well, that was your second place finisher, Cameron Caldwell. Also, the Grand Poobah here, ITPN. Just huge thanks to Cameron here, and yeah, we'll see you next week, man. All right, like I said, that was Cameron. Bringing your third place driver, Aaron Siciliano here. Aaron has been out here in the broadcast booth. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing pretty great, man. You had a pretty uneventful race. You were really fast early, and even late a little bit. Just tell us how what was going through your mind, and just how you came home with that third place finish.
Yeah, it kind of felt like I was in a go-kart wishing it had about 50 more horsepower, sitting there rocking back and forth going, go! I didn't realize quite how aggressive the dirty air would be, where I felt like I could catch up to the back of Michael in front of me early in the race and then lose it all through the S's whenever the front end would push. And that was kind of the story of the race, because that was behind Michael or behind Cam, pushing my heart out to the point of making mistakes just to try and keep up with them or close a tenth of a second a lap. They definitely earned it. I tried to get it from them.
Yeah, we were keeping an eye on lap times throughout the course of the race, and there at the end, you really had the speed to catch those two. We saw you kind of lose a lot of like power or something kind of coming out of turn 7 when you were about to pass Cameron. What happened there?
Netcode.
So netcode forced you back that far?
I was kind of pushing him through the turn, which I guess I shouldn't have been that close to him, and it hooked him sideways on my screen, and then it punted me into the outside wall there.
Wow, it's super interesting because we didn't see you hit the wall at all. But super unfortunate because it looked like you were way faster than Cameron. Maybe you could have had something for Michael there at the end. But overall, really great job. You're really fast and you were really consistent. So before we let you go, anybody want to tip your cap to, give a huge shout out to?
Oh, I would say Michael and Cam this race. They definitely earned it.
Anybody else you want to say hi to or thank?
I guess if I'm forced to, I'm gonna say Nick is my default every time I get interviewed. So, Nick Dornick.
Well, man, once again, congratulations on P3, and we'll hope to see you next week at Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, thanks. You won't be interviewing me there. Have a good one.
You too. That was your third place finisher, Arian Siciliano. Really good race by him as well as Cameron Caldwell and as well as Michael Kruger. That'll be it for our coverage here on JCTV of the Blazer Sim Racing InThePitsNews Truck Series at Watkins Glen. Once again, I'm Bennett Allen, along with Adam Kuhn. We brought you all the action that we could hear from Watkins Glen, and hopefully we will see you guys next week at Nashville Super Speedway, as I'm trying to get up the schedule one last time for y'all. Here's the schedule, and hopefully we'll see y'all once again next week at Nashville Super Speedway.